Aziz, so first up, how's camp been? It's been you guys got in early. How's it been?
Yeah, we've been here a few days now. Yeah, it's been good. Great facilities here. Great weather as well, and the trainings have been really good and intense as well.
Nice. And your buddy Lex is in camp again. How good is it to see him back in the national team setup?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he's worked hard. Obviously he's been unfortunate last couple of seasons with injuries, but I've seen firsthand what he's done down at the club at Melbourne City to get himself right and put himself in the mix again. So yeah, really happy to have him in camp.
Yeah. Now you're one of the more experienced players in a camp with a lot of fresh faces. Do you feel like you're taking up more of a leadership role in the national team?
Yeah, I'd say so. I've always been that type. Yeah, look, it's more about helping those younger boys coming in. The main thing is just making them feel comfortable. They're here for a reason. The boss always says it. You're selected for a reason because you're a top player. So, look, they're all good young lads, obviously with a lot of qualities, and they're going to help us a lot during this World Cup campaign.
And then, less than a month to go till our opening match in the World Cup. Is it starting to feel close?
Yeah, definitely. I think it felt close as soon as the A-League was done for us. You start getting those goosebumps. Obviously, third time for me now. So, it's the same fire burning, same excitement as it was the first time around. So, yeah, look, it's really exciting, and yeah, we're really raring to go.
Right. And well, yeah, our first opponents are Turkey. What's the chat like between friends and family?
Yeah, look, it's exciting. Obviously, I spent nearly more than half my career over there. So, and obviously coming from a Turkish background as well, and I've still got friends in that national team still playing now. So, yeah, look, it'll be a special game for myself. But look, the most important is getting 3 points, obviously, to kickstart our campaign.
And yeah, you've been involved in some iconic moments in the green and gold. That run against Argentina, the goal against Japan. How do you reflect back on those moments?
Yeah, look, obviously the one against Argentina, sometimes, obviously, I get that up a lot and what if, but yeah, look, that was a great campaign. Obviously, our goal is to do better than what we did last World Cup. Obviously, it's going to be hard work. And we've already started that, like you said. A lot of us are in pretty early. And yeah, and the goal against Japan, obviously, that's probably, the highlight of my career to date. With what was on the line and, the minute it happened, yeah, that's something that I think when it's all done and dusted, I'll look back on, with a lot of happy memories.
And what would it mean to you personally to potentially go to a third World Cup?
Yeah, it means everything to me. I've always said, the national team, something I never take for granted. It's not like club football. It's not an everyday training session or a game, a week-to-week basis. So this is one thing I've never taken for granted. So, I treat every camp like it's my last camp. I do my best to put myself in the best possible position to get selected. So it's no different leading into this World Cup. I'm doing everything I can, making sure I'm leaving no stone unturned to give myself the best chance to get selected into the final squad.